Hi all. So thought of creating a cloth simulation today with the help of Mixamo. Okay, so let's just dive straight in and firstly let's just bring in a character from a Mixamo. So let's do that. Just type in Mixamo. I'd like to log in. Okay, so let's use one of these characters. Let's use regular one which I already work with, which is let's see yeah. So this is the character, okay, and yeah, just so that it loads, and then I want an animation of maybe let's type in X. Yeah, probably this one is. So yeah, this is a good animation to work on the. Yeah, that's good now. Okay, let's download this. Download it on the and let's import it in Maya. Yes, because it's an FPX file, I'll just import it. Yeah, supposed to be an FPX. There it is. Yeah. Now, being imported from Mixamo, the scale of the character is very huge. Okay. So what I'll be doing is I'll be actually scaling him down so that it doesn't affect the simulation of my cloth for this character. And let me have a look at how it's looking. Okay. Fine. So I'll just scale him down a bit. So let me go into the outliner, catch hold of his hips, and make a group of it. Control G to make a group of it, and then scale it down so that nothing happens to the animation of the character or nothing happens to its geometry, probably of this size. Okay. So the animation stays intact. All right. Yeah. So one thing what I can do is just first mm, do let's say cache the geometry first, either in the LMIC or the Maya's local format, or I can just work with the mesh right now. Okay, the mesh which is right now, uh, the skin mesh will also do. Okay, so let's see what how this can be worked out. Okay. Fine. So initially, what I will like is I will like the character to be in T pose. Okay. So for this, what I'll be doing is let me take this back to let's see, round about what's the animation frame range. Let's say round about right. Seems fine. Yeah. Also try to put a ground plane here. So we put a plane. Plane here. So the character will be seen will seem as if it is on the ground. Yeah, goes okay. In the negative, let's say -100, will want the character to be in T pose initially. Okay, so in the negative frames, what I'll do is try to take the character in his T pose. So just catch hold of the joints, and select the hierarchy, and then take these values all to 0. uh, take the rotation value as close to 0. Okay, yeah, so there it is. I have a key too, so from 100 onwards to frame 1 is where I will have a transition from its T pose to his actually action pose, which I can use, very well use. So in the front, what I will do now is try to create a clothing for this character, especially cloth which is good enough in the sense which is very uh, which is very light probably, or which will be more expanded version of his thing, where the cloth is not body tight, but it's really will help in showing a lot of follow through and the cloth movement. So it needs to be uh, a little away from his body. Okay? So create a polygonal. Let's create the cloth first. Well, I'll be using polygonal it's a cylinder. Okay. We'll reduce some segments here. All about, let's say, well, a value of 12 will be good enough. Yeah, as we require subdivision height. Let's scale it. Okay, I don't want any caps segments. We'll reduce the subdivision caps. Yes. I'll take this here, here. Yes. I'll take this here, here. Insert couple of more subdivisions. Surface. Try to align it from the side view. I need to check whether it's not intersecting with the body. I don't want the cloth to be intersecting with the body. If so, just move it away from the body if it is intersecting in any way. I need the cloth to be a little longer also. That's good. So insert one more edge over here. Just pull it a little up. Okay, another thing what I'm going to so do is I also want sleeves. Like to have a sleeve for this character. To do a sleeve. Looks good. A nice loose kind of sleeves there. Okay. Yeah, looks fine. Just let's save that. Select the faces, delete those. So touch look tool. Add a little bit of more resolution so that later when the cloth simulates, it doesn't starve off the resolution here. Okay. It goes to the neck. Okay, so that seems good. We'll also say that please delete it. Inside, I'll look to add a nice loop here. I'll require good loops around these regions. Yeah, that is, I think, good enough. Require one here. We'll just clean up the mesh, edit, delete by type history, modify freeze transformations. Okay. Just also put a smooth on this. Oh, before putting a smooth, I will just go to the mesh display and do a soften edge. Let's make a copy for this. Control D, skeleton minus X direction. Make a copy of it. Merge it together. Mesh, merge, combine it. Combine it, you need to merge the vertices. So just select it, merge the vertices. Not to forget this one. Okay, once that is done, okay, what I'll do is once that is done, I will smooth, make a smooth of this. So once again, edit, delete history, and smooth it. That have a nice equal resolution on this body. Once again, edit, Well, I'll just make a copy of this. Just Control D and make a copy of this. Keep the previous copy aside and use the older one. Let's put this in a layer in case if we need it. Okay. So this will be my code. Just what this is, just delete it off. Check. Yeah. Fine. So let's start by giving it an Ncloth. This a bit. I'll also save the file here in case we need to go back. Oh, yeah. Select it, go to FX menu, Ncloth, create. So yeah, so once you assign Ncloth to it in the nucleus system, I need to specify that the simulation will start from 100 frames. Okay, so you can give 50 frames, doesn't matter. You can even give it at 50 frames. So I might just catch hold of the group node or something which is above it. Okay, or sorry, I'm going to catch hold of the hierarchy. So modify. Let's shorten this because it's going to take forever. Okay, I will shorten it from -50 onwards till 0. Okay, so select the hierarchy. Edit, uh, select hierarchy, okay, and then this select this, like this, and move it towards, let's say, -50. All right, keep this to -50. Yeah, that's where it starts from. Okay, so same in the cloth nucleus system. In the parameter here, what I'll do is use my start frame. In the time attribute, the start frame will be my from -50 on. That will be the start frame. It takes care of it. You can see the cloud nicely sliding down. Okay, which not necessarily collides with the body right now. So I will select the deformer object and then use Ncloth and create a passive collider out of it. Okay? So let's see now that nicely collides with the body. Okay, but it doesn't show with the lower part. For this too, I'll also make it a passive collider. Okay, let's check. Colliding with the. Now, even before you play this, it's always also very important to check what is the playback speed. It should be play every frame. See? Yeah. Now, one thing you can immediately see that the cloth around his neck is like sliding through. Okay. Now we need to keep the area, the collar area, uh, tied to his neck. So in that case, what I'll do is just select this edge, select the edge here, and Control Shift or Control click on this and change my selection from edge to vertices. Okay, so that will select the vertices. I'll catch hold of the body of his and then use in constraint, which is called as point to surface constraint, and that will actually connect the collar's edge or the edge of the shirt uh, and connect it to his neck. Okay. So that will always remain connected to his neck. Okay, so let's check this now. So if I just play it, with some time, move away. And one thing what I feel which is going to happen around here is you can see this cloth like just lifting off. That is what we don't want. And you will see as he jumps. So it's like, yeah, this will happen. Though it's behaving like a cloth, it's really a cloth which is lot heavier. It seems like. You can check. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so in this case, what I will be doing is the cloth is going all over. It's not staying on his uh, it's not staying on the surface. So around his body. So for that, what I will do is use something called as along with the shirt. I will also use something called as constraint, which is called a slide to the surface constraint. Okay. You do have a point to the surface also, but this will slide around its body and also try to keep a distance. Okay, so I'll do that. Just let's use it. Slide or not. I also do one more thing in here. Also have one more constraint uh, around his uh, around his waist. It goes. Yeah. To end constraint again, use point to surface. Okay, so that will remain connected to his waist. I also work with one more option here, which will be the scale value. So I want this to be a little bit heavier, not as light as what it seems right now. So jump into the nucleus system, and just play around with a scale attribute here, which is the space scale attribute. Okay. Space scale attribute. Let me let's say take it around. Let's say zero point 0.5. Okay, so let's check. That cloth is stretching too lot. Uh, just also experiment with the type of cloth we are working with. So right now it's probably a default one. I will choose it. Let it be thick leather or something like that. It can be t-shirt also. So we can just go and uh, experiment with these values. So just use a thick leather right now. Let's replace it with thick leather. Okay, kind of have will be a thick leather. I'll also go for the uh, I'll also go for the nucleus attribute, and also add a substeps so that I have a good quality render. So value of 3 will be like a substeps of a quality calculations of around, let's say, a value of 3 times between a frame. So if I increase this, it will be more, it will be 5 times. So a guy or a character who's traveling at that speed, I'll have to check that the cloth also keeps up with the same speed, it doesn't kind of go through his body. So I can increase this to a value of 5 or even 6 maybe later. See how the change value works. Let's pull it out a bit later on. This time it's more of a rigid cloth, which which goes with the character, and probably a character from a medieval age. There's a leather type clothing. Okay, I think that's fair. What I'll do is just cache it and then maybe check it in real time once it's done. We'll do a I'll just do a quick cache to this. Okay. So let's go into the N cache actually. So Ncloth. Oh, it's here in the N cache. I'm going to create Ncloth of the object, and I will just save it. Here, let's call it as cache. Save it here. Okay, so yep, save the cache here. Create a cache. So let me select this and just assign. We have some issues here. Let me uh, assign a new material to it. Let me assign Standard surface. Go to okay. Let me delete it and just also experiment with a little bit of more different cloth properties for this. Okay, so right now I am applied it a cloth property of a thick leather. If I just check with, let's say, something which is much more lighter than the thick leather, okay, which will be. Uh, Before I do that, let me also go to the dynamic property and check with the stretch resistance, which is 50. Okay, and the restitution is no rigidity at all. Okay, fine. So the 50 is basically the resistance. So if we change it to, let's say, a t-shirt and replace it, I get a value of 35 and 10. Okay, so what I can do is I can choose this to be, let's say, 35 for both stretch and bend, for both stretch and compression. Just check with these values. And before doing anything, I will just delete the cache on it. So the cache, dynamic cache, I will need to delete it. So delete any end cache if it is already there, and then let's redo this simulation once again. I'll just work with the cache back again. So replace the cache with the older one. Select it. And cache. Let's replace the existing. a little bit of interpenetration here. What I can do, just let me check it once again. Check it interacting. This time it's a little bit more appropriate. I can have a little bit of movement on his cloth, all right. Mhm. Put here from this side. See here there is little issues. Let's reverse it. Find some issues near his left hand, not so much though in the right hand, but a little bit on the left hand where I can see the interpenetrations. Okay. Yeah, just try one more trick is in this area. I'll of course I have to again delete the cache off. So ncache I'll go to delete the cache here. Okay, so just delete cache and what I'll do is just select these areas, okay, where there are some interpenetrations which are happening. Let's select the body of his and put it in a layer and also say show joints of and select the vertices for this as well as this areas. Probably not so much required here, but then too maybe some here. And then use the geometry and use a constraint which is called as slide on surface constraint. Okay, so I believe the slide on surface constraint won't allow, or it will create um, a constraint which will not allow the cloth to penetrate through the colliding geometry. Let's see if this works or not. It's true. Um, really being recorded. Good. Yeah, so to a certain extent, has it cached it? Mm, I don't think it cached it. Okay, I need to do a cache backup in here. Just, cache, create a new cache, place listing. Okay, so if we have a look on this, so I think probably what we'll have to do is even select the control vertices on this region so that it doesn't penetrate from here. Okay, let's check. Let's check. Looks good except that part. Okay, so what I'll do is let's select it. Go to the third constraint. Delete it up. This turn this off again. X. I'll probably select the whole area, the whole vertex for the left hand. Yeah, maybe these menu will be good enough. So if you here, though we don't have a lot of issues here on this side, be better. Okay. Select the body, go to end constraint, apply the slide on surface constraint. Okay. And then don't forget to delete the cache and cache, delete the cache, and then again probably cache it back again. Select it and then end cache, create cache, and object replace it system. So So slide to surface tries to keep a distance between the object as well as the cloth, not trying to get in contact with each other. I will probably the stick constraint will be better off. Stick constraint will be a better word. Much better than the previous. There's some here, but of course this issue can also be solved in a similar way. Let's check it now. You hide the constraints from here. So you can just zero, then see the constraints. It's good. Wonderful, nice motion here. I just hide some of the geometry here. Some glitches here though, which can be removed if we go back to the nucleus. Mm, just experiment with the substrate value here. Maximum collision iterations. So those are the values which you can try to remove those glitches that are happening here somewhere. Okay, so I think that is all for the clothes simulations, guys. Yeah, thanks all.